If you're watching this, maybe you didn't find it. Maybe it found you. Maybe it showed up because you were scrolling, distracted, tired, or maybe a little lost. Maybe something inside you is stretched thin, and you don't even know what to call it. But here's the truth. This video is for you, exactly when you need it. Not to fix you. Not to give you another list of things to do, but to remind you of something you already knew, but forgot. That you're still here, still breathing, still capable of starting again. We all hit moments that feel heavier than they should. Moments where the silence is louder, the doubts hit harder, and the outside world seems just a little too far away. You smile at people, you get through the day, but inside, you're carrying something you haven't named out loud. That's why this exists. Not for the perfect version of you, for the real one. The one that's tired. The one that second guesses. The one that's strong, but exhausted from always needing to be. You don't have to explain it all. You don't have to fix it all right now. You just have to stay with me for a few minutes. Because in this space, there are no expectations. No pressure to figure it out. Just space to breathe, to reflect, and maybe to remember how to be kind to yourself again. So if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Here's something no one told you in school, but should have. No emotion lasts longer than 90 seconds. Not anger, not fear, not sadness. Physiologically, your body can only hold on to an emotional chemical surge for about a minute and a half unless you keep feeding it with your thoughts. Let that sink in. That overwhelming feeling that seems endless, it's not. It only stays because you're replaying the story. This isn't motivational fluff. This is neuroscience, backed by Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor, a Harvard-trained neuroanatomist. When a strong emotion hits, your brain releases a chemical cocktail: adrenaline, cortisol, dopamine, depending on the emotion. These chemicals flood your system. And unless you mentally re-trigger the emotion, they clear out in 90 seconds. You feel angry. Your body is physically processing it. That heat in your face, that tightness in your chest, that knot in your stomach. But if you just pause, if you breathe, if you observe it instead of feeding it, it will pass, just like a wave. The storm isn't permanent. What keeps you drowning is the story you keep telling yourself about the storm. And that means something profound. You're not at the mercy of your emotions. You're not broken because you feel deeply. You're powerful because you can notice, pause, and choose. So next time you feel yourself spiraling, don't resist it. Don't judge it. Just breathe through the 90 seconds. Let it rise. Let it move. Let it leave. You'll be surprised by how much lighter it feels. When you stop holding on so tightly, disappointment doesn't come from what happened. It comes from the distance between what you expected and what actually occurred. Think about it. You expected support and got silence. You expected progress and hit a wall. You expected connection and felt unseen. That gap? That's where the pain lives. But what if you could close it? Not by lowering your standards, but by shifting your perspective. This is the power of cognitive reframing. It's not about pretending everything is fine. It's about rewriting the internal narrative so that it serves you instead of sabotaging you. Let's say you didn't get the job, the call, the outcome. The old frame might say, "I failed. I'm not enough. This always happens to me." The new frame: this didn't go as planned, but I can learn from it, adapt, and grow stronger. Same event, different meaning. Entirely different emotional outcome. Your brain is a prediction machine. It constantly tries to write the future before it happens. When reality doesn't match the script, it panics, unless you rewrite the script. Reframing gives you that power. It doesn't erase the hard thing. It makes space around it. It transforms a dead end into a detour, a loss into a lesson, a failure into feedback. We all have moments that felt like the end of something, only to realize later they were the beginning of something better. Reframing lets you access that wisdom now, not years from now. Because you don't need to change your entire life overnight. You just need to change the story you're telling yourself about what's happening. That's where strength begins. We all know what a first aid kit is for. A cut, a burn, a sudden fall. You reach for the box, open it, and there it is. What you need, already prepared. But what about when the pain isn't visible? When what hurts isn't your skin, but your chest, your thoughts, your mood? That's where the emotional first aid kit comes in. It's not a metaphor. It's real. And you can build one. You don't wait until you're bleeding to pack gauze. So don't wait until you're spiraling to build support. Start now, while things are calm. Think about your most common emotional storms. Anxiety, overwhelm, sadness. Now, for each one, choose a few things that soothe and ground you. Maybe it's a physical action, like jumping jacks, stretching, or taking a walk. Maybe it's a sensory trigger, lavender oil, a favorite song, a calming texture. Maybe it's a mantra, this will pass. I've survived worse. Or a social anchor, a friend text, a voice note from someone who sees you. Save them. Write them down. Make a folder in your Notes app. Call it For When I Forget What Helps. Because in the middle of emotional chaos, it's hard to think clearly. That's not weakness. That's how stress works. So you plan ahead. You leave breadcrumbs for your future self. This kit won't erase the pain, but it will give you something to hold on to. And sometimes that's all we need. One small anchor to remind us that we've been here before and made it through. You know that feeling when your mind just won't shut up? You replay the same conversation, the same mistake, the same what if, again and again and again. That's rumination, a mental loop that disguises itself as problem solving, but goes nowhere. It's like trying to get out of quicksand by struggling harder. The more you fight it, the deeper you sink. And the worst part? Telling yourself to just stop thinking about it only makes it worse. Your brain hears that as, think about it harder. So what do you do instead? You interrupt the loop, not with force, but with redirection. Try this. It's called the 5-3-1 technique. 5. Look around and name 5 things you can see, out loud or in your head. This shifts your attention into the visual world. Your brain has to engage with the present moment. 3. Move. Stand up. Walk to another room. Do something active for 3 minutes. It could be stretching, dancing, washing dishes. Doesn't matter. Movement snaps the cycle. 1. Do one small action, related to the problem if possible. If not, anything constructive. Send the email. Write the thought down. Drink water. Text someone. This reminds your brain. We're not stuck. We're responding. You're not escaping the thought. You're giving your mind a new track to run on. Because your brain isn't the enemy. It just needs better instructions. And sometimes all it takes is a pattern interrupt to break hours of spiraling. You don't have to control every thought. You just have to guide where your mind flows. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt like everyone was watching you? Like somehow, every flaw, every awkward movement, every little mistake was under a spotlight? That's not reality. That's something called the spotlight effect. And almost everyone falls for it. Here's what it means. We all massively overestimate how much other people notice or care about us. Why? Because we're the center of our own universe. We feel every stumble, every crack in our voice, every awkward pause like it's on full display. But here's the truth. Everyone else is too busy doing the exact same thing. They're focused on their performance, their image, their worries. You're not being judged nearly as much as you think. You're being glanced at and then forgotten. There was even a study where researchers made people wear embarrassing t-shirts in public. Guess what? They assumed everyone noticed. But in reality, almost no one did. Your most cringeworthy moment, the thing you still think about late at night, most people didn't even register it, or they forgot within seconds. You're carrying shame for something no one else remembers, and that means you're free. Free to try, to mess up, to speak up, because no one is keeping a scoreboard but you. Let that sink in. The jury you imagine in your mind, it doesn't exist, so walk in. Take the step. Say the thing. Not because it'll be perfect, but because nobody's watching as closely as you think. And that is incredibly liberating. What if I told you that changing just one word in your thoughts could instantly reduce your stress? It's called third-person self-talk. And it's simple. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," you say, "Your name can handle this." That's it. It sounds strange. But the shift is powerful. Why? Because when you talk to yourself in the third person, your brain creates distance. You move from emotional overwhelm to objective support, from panic to perspective. Studies from Michigan State show that this technique activates the same brain regions you use when giving advice to a friend. And think about that. How often do you know what to tell someone else, but can't see it clearly for yourself? Third-person self-talk helps you tap into that inner coach, the part of you that's calm, wise, and grounded. So next time your inner critic says, "I'm going to fail," try. Sophia has faced challenges before. She's figured things out before. She will again. Now you're not stuck in the emotion. You're standing beside it. You're observing it like a friend, not drowning in it like a victim. Your internal voice is the one you hear most. Make sure it speaks with compassion and clarity. Because when the storm hits, sometimes the most powerful thing you can hear is your own voice, speaking to you like someone who believes in you. And that starts with calling yourself by name. You've heard it a million times. Just visualize success. But what if I told you that positive thinking alone can actually make you less likely to achieve your goals? It feels good to imagine everything going right. But that feeling can trick your brain into thinking you've already succeeded, killing your drive to act. The solution: it's called mental contrasting. And it's not about being negative. It's about being prepared. Here's how it works. Step 1. Visualize the outcome. Really picture it. The feeling, the details, the reward. Let yourself imagine the version of you that followed through. Step 2. Now picture the obstacles, the real ones. The moments when motivation drops, when fear kicks in, when life gets messy. Step 3. Make an if-then plan. If I feel too tired after work, then I'll just start with 5 minutes. If I feel like giving up, then I'll text someone for accountability. This bridges the gap between desire and action. Mental contrasting isn't pessimism. It's strategic optimism. You're not ignoring the hard parts. You're building a plan for them. And that's what makes success sustainable. Not blind hope, but hope that's grounded in reality. So next time you feel inspired, don't stop at the dream. Go one step further. Ask, what might get in the way? And then decide, what will I do when it does? That's how you stop fantasizing. and start following through. What if stress wasn't your enemy? What if the discomfort you avoid is exactly what could make you stronger? That's the idea behind anti-fragility. It's not about surviving chaos. It's about using it to grow. Some things break under pressure. Others survive. But anti-fragile things, they get better because of pressure. Your muscles are anti-fragile. You stress them in the gym. They grow stronger. Your immune system, same thing. Expose it to tiny threats and it learns how to fight bigger ones. And your mind? It works the same way if you train it. That doesn't mean throwing yourself into trauma. It means introducing voluntary discomfort on your terms. A cold shower, a hard conversation, a small risk. Tiny storms that build your resilience before the big ones hit. Most people wait until life forces them to be strong. But what if you trained for it ahead of time? Start small. Delay a gratification. Sit with a feeling instead of escaping it. Do the one thing you've been avoiding all week. Every time you stretch just a little beyond your comfort zone, you're teaching your brain, I can handle this. And that belief is a game changer. Because true strength isn't built in safety. It's built in the moments when you choose to face friction, with your eyes open. So the next time life feels chaotic, don't just survive it. Ask, how can I grow from this? That question alone turns pressure into progress. There's a reason some people survive the hardest seasons, while others collapse under the weight of hope that breaks. It's not about being optimistic, and it's not about being realistic. It's about holding both at the same time. This is the Stockdale paradox. Admiral Jim Stockdale survived over 7 years as a prisoner of war in Vietnam. When asked who didn't make it out, he said, the optimists. The ones who said, we'll be out by Christmas, then by Easter, then by the summer. Each deadline passed, and their hope broke. But Stockdale? He had a different mindset. Never confuse faith that you will prevail with the discipline to confront the brutal facts of your current reality. That's the paradox. You believe, fully, that you will make it through. But you stop pretending that it will be easy or fast or according to your timeline. You accept what is, without letting go of what could be. So when life hits harder than expected, when the diagnosis comes, the loss arrives, the plan falls apart, you don't crumble under wishful thinking. You anchor yourself in both truths. This is harder than I thought, and I'm not done. Hope without reality is delusion. Reality without hope is despair. But hope with reality? That's where resilience lives. You don't have to predict the end. You just have to face today fully and still believe in the version of you that makes it out the other side. Because they exist, and every hard day you endure is one step closer to meeting them. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, like a system, not a single habit, not a motivational quote, but a framework you install into your life so that when things get heavy, your mind doesn't break, it activates. Here's the truth. When a crisis hits, you don't rise to the level of your intentions. You fall to the level of your systems. So, let's build one. Your personal resilient system has 4 core components. 1. Physiological regulation. The ability to calm your body. Use the 4-7-8 breathing technique daily. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. It teaches your nervous system how to slow down, even when life speeds up. 2. Cognitive framing. The way you interpret events. Practice third-person self-talk. Use the Stockdale paradox. Reframe when things go wrong. Your thoughts aren't always facts, but they always shape how you feel. 3. Behavioral anchors. Small, repeatable actions. Use the 90-second rule. Interrupt rumination with the 5-3-1 method. Movement creates momentum, even tiny steps. 4. Social scaffolding. Your support network. Know your 3 to 5 people, the ones you trust, the ones you can call when things unravel. Schedule regular contact. Don't wait until you're in trouble to reach out. Practice these before the storm, not during. Make them muscle memory. Because real resilience doesn't come from reacting well in the moment. It comes from preparing when things are calm. You're not weak because you struggle. You're human. And humans don't thrive alone or randomly. They thrive in systems. Build yours. You made it to the end. And maybe more importantly, you made it to this moment. The part where you realize that nothing changes all at once. But everything starts with a shift. You've learned techniques. You've heard truths. But here's what matters most. The right tools will only find you when you need them, if you've planted them first. So plant them now. Don't try to memorize everything. Don't pressure yourself to be perfectly resilient. Just pick one thing, one technique, one mindset shift, one tiny change you can practice this week. Maybe it's the 90-second rule. Maybe it's third-person self-talk. Maybe it's building your emotional first aid kit. Start there. Repeat it. Make it yours. Then, when life gets heavy, and it will, you'll have something to hold on to. Something you practiced in the calm that steadies you in the storm. Because this wasn't just a video. This was a reminder that you're not alone. That you're not broken. That there are ways through this that don't require you to be stronger. Only to be softer with yourself. And when someone you care about hits their moment of overwhelm, send this to them. Let them hear the same words that met you when you needed them most. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing we can do is not fix the storm, but sit with someone inside it. This is for you, whenever you need it, and especially when you forget it. Save it, practice it, share it, and come back to it. Exactly when life whispers, now.